A few weeks ago, I started teaching on Amazing Talker. It is a platform for learning languages online, and I soon realized I was going to need a very good system to keep track of all the students and of each student's individual progress and the lessons that we had together. Now, the best solution would, of course, be an Excel spreadsheet, color-coded, searchable by name and by subject, but I don't know how to make one of those. So I was looking for an alternative solution and one that would really help a visual thinker like myself. And I found an app, a free version of which is available, called Trello. I'm now going to take you through a week of my Amazing Talker teaching online schedule and demonstrate to you how you might be able to use Trello as a way to keep track of a lot of different students each day of the week. So here you see 1 week of my teaching calendar. In Trello, this is called a board. So the name of the board is here, and when you click into it, you can change the name. I always name it numbers and then the date. So this board starts on Monday, the 10th of August. You can see each one of these is a day: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it goes all the way to Saturday. Now, these last few ones, you see these green boxes, those are calendar entries. That means you can actually set the time on the calendar and a little reminder. But I actually no longer use that. I found a slightly more simple system to use. Now, watch when I click on these. You will see that each one of my students is labeled according to what their level is. So for example, here I know Tracy is doing her IELTS, and Candace is a business person. And we know that here I'm teaching 2 children, age 13 and 9, so a teenager and a beginner. And this way I get a really good sense of what my lesson is going to be about for the whole day. I can even see how many lessons I have on the day. Now my system, again, you will make your own system, but my system is to name the lessons according to how many I've had with the students, to track them over time. So you can see that these are all beginners lessons, the first lessons, but here, these two, I have had 2 lessons with them. So when I click in, you see this is something that you can very easily edit. I know my labels that show up, and then a little description. Very often I will show you, I copy and paste what the students tell me in their initial messages so that I have a sense of who they are. And then for each lesson that I have, I'm going to leave a comment of what I have done in that particular lesson. And the very cool thing is that as I copy this lesson into another day, all my comments will stay. I will show you that in a minute. So let me go to a second week. So my second week looks like this. And let me find somebody who's taken a few lessons with me, maybe here. Yeah, so you can see that the first lesson I did numbers and colors, then I did animals, and then here in my third lesson, I'm going to ask JC to bring her toys, and I'm going to do a different topic with Jaden. So this is extremely useful to keep track of what you are teaching individual students. Now you can see that what I'm doing, I'm adding the time into the title. I even added a break card here. Imagine you're halfway through the day and you're kind of feeling like, here I've got 7 different lessons, and you are already worn out and you're wondering what comes next. What was it again? What have I done with Serena in the past? And you would click in here and you would get the history of what we've done together. Each of these cards is completely separate. So for example, say that Caden has changed their schedule from a Monday to a Wednesday. I'm just going to take the card and move it to another day, which is very, very cool. So if someone cancels, you can move the card anywhere you want. Now I'm going to take you through the beginning of one of these cards. So it is going to take you a little bit of time to set it up. So my template looks like this. Yeah, there is nothing there. So this is one card for each day of the week. So the first thing you need to know is the show menu button here, and it gives you a lot of useful information about this. For example, your labels. Now, my labels, I want them always to be the same every week, and I don't want to re-enter them every week. This is why I have a template board, and I am going to copy this board and make a new one so that all the labels are preserved. Let's do that now as an example. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to go copy board, I'm going to call that test board. And again, you could even have, for example, you're teaching different subjects, you could have different subheadings here. I'm going to keep all my cards and I'm going to create. So my template board is still here, completely untouched. And I've now got the 5 test board that I'm going to be working on with you. If I go and look at my labels, yay, they're all here exactly like I have them, and I want them for each and every week. Now, I can go in here and already change the dates. Say, for example, the week starts with the 17th. Of course, it's a little laborious, but it goes quite quickly. Then this would be the 18th. This would be the 19th, etc. Each one of these is a day of the week. And the second thing then I want to do, and usually I use my phone for that. So for example, you can see here in my Google Calendar, I know the names and I know the times of all my student slots. So I can now match what is in my calendar for next week with my Trello board. So I can see that on the 19th, my first student is Annie. And this is Annie's second lesson. So I know I will find her in a previous board. So, yeah. So you need to do your boards at the end of the week, at the weekend, so that you've got the fullest information from the previous week. So imagine if I had made Annie's card earlier and I taught her 2 lessons this week. Well, the content notes of those 2 lessons would not be in this new card I made for her. So I always want to find the latest card and make a copy of that. Let's pick this one here. I want to have all these comments right in my new card. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to go copy. And we see I want to copy this, and I know now this is not lesson 4. This is lesson 5. Oops. And I'm going to put a big test here so I don't get mixed up. And I know the board is going to be my test board. Yeah, so the board, I've chosen the board, and then the list, these are the dates, and I know that her lesson is on the 19th, and then I can even choose the position if there's already other people in there. So I've changed this. Oh, and also her time is this time is at 10 o'clock. So I know that is this week, this day, this time, lesson 5, and we'll say it's the first lesson of the day, and I'm going to go create card. Now when I go back to my test board, I will see her card in here. And when I open it up, all the comments, the previous lesson comments are here. You do have to do this little bit of extra work at the end of the week in order to fill out your calendar, but then the whole information is there for you to use. Now I'm going to have a look at who is the next one, Leo. Now I'm going to go back to my last lesson and I'm going to pick Leo's. I want to have all the comments. I'm going to go copy. I'm going to call, this is lesson 9. And just for this time, I'm going to call it test. And this time his lesson is at 10. And I'm going to go back to the board I need. We're using this board here. The day. And then you can see already that there's another position. So I could put him in a position 1 or at position 2. Now his day is, let's imagine, just for argument's sake, so you can see, I'm going to put position 1. I'm going to put create card, close this, and I'm going to go back to my test board And you can see that Leo is now in position 1, and I can move him down if I wanted to into another position or even into another day. This is how I populate my board with my different clients, so that in the end it will look like this. Now you can see that most of my boards are full except for maybe this one here. This is because I have quite a lot of lessons with her this week, and I did not want to make a card for her and then not have the information here. So I made a placeholder, which I'm going to delete when I copy her card over here. The way you make a card is you literally just go add card, you name it, whatever you want. Again, I recommend putting the lesson number here, and I also recommend putting the time, 10 a.m. for example, so that you've got all that information here. So I'm going to go add the card. So look at my test student. I found out that my test student is wanting to do the TOEFL course. I'm going to pick TOEFL as their thingy. And I also found out that they want to do writing and conversation. So they want to do both the speaking and the writing part of their TOEFL course. And I want to know that right away. So I'm going to add those labels in. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick thing, information that they might have given. They might have told me that they want to improve their writing, and they want a level 7 or above in speaking. Yeah, if I could spell. So I've got all the information in here, and I can save that, and then I could already go, okay, I know what I'm going to do with them on the first lesson, because I always do my first TOEFL trial assessment lesson with them. So I've got my first lesson in here as well. Let's close this. Okay, so my test student, I have so much information about them, and when I have finished the lesson, if they book classes, then I would go and copy this student's card, yeah, and I would say, okay, this time it's going to be the next lesson, the time might be 2 p.m. The board is going to be my test board, and I'm going to put them into my test board. All right. Now I can then imagine this was just a placeholder. I can also delete this card because it's my test card. I want to delete it. Now, this is something that took me a while to figure out. You have to go to Archive, Delete, because it really wants to make sure, oh, do you really want to delete the card? Yes, so my card is gone. But if I go into our test board, yep, my student is here. And again, I can move them into any other day I want. So I hope this is just a very quick introduction of how I use Trello to help me cope with my students. And if you have any other questions, please do feel free to ask me. And for example, this is an add-on that you need to set specifically. There are videos, many YouTube videos you can watch if you want more Trello training. And if you want my template, or if you want more advice of how you do it for teaching, just leave me a comment and I will get back to you. I hope this was useful in giving you a little insight on how I use Trello in order to track all my students throughout the week. Now, if you have a better solution, please share it with me, because I am always looking for ways to be more efficient with my time during the planning and the keeping track of my students. But feel free to leave me a comment, and I will always try to help you as best as I can.